Alright, so I'll do a brief short shop update. So, also, well, I'll do it on this one. This is Type X. So Alpine Type X was, and still is, the top subwoofer that Alpine ever released. See, I said released instead of produced, made, because I don't even think they made it. So, again, which is fine. I'm not judging. Ugh. Oh, woof. I'm having those today. So I don't like. Okay, so let me back up a little bit. So there were two versions. There was the initial version, the older version, which had a very thin gap, and it's difficult to work with. And then there's an older version which they go, okay, maybe we need to make the gap a little bigger so that it's a little more forgiving. And that's this one, which is the more recent version. So, and then they have these little jumpers that go in here, and this is one coil, this is the other coil, positives on the left. I don't like set screws for termination. They're a pain in the butt, and you got to get the wire in there, and it's a whole thing. So, and then what I did was I had Sherry prep it. Turns out the SPL cone from Lord of Base is a good fit for this because of how deep it is. But yet it uses just an 8-inch spider. I went ahead and used just the red LOB. Mine has quad leads, which is a little overkill for this application, so that's why I just wanted to use theirs. Plus, I think it kind of makes it pop on the color. And normally, like if this was a Type R, I would just come here, I would remove this top and then solder to the tabs there and then just leave it exposed, because you're going to stick it in a box anyway, and it's a fucking 20-year-old Type R anyway, so nobody gives a shit. But on this one, I don't even want to fuck with this thing, so I just did direct connect, which, again, I'm not a fan of. But I'll insulate this up to about here, and whether it's tape or heat shrink or whatever it is. And then I'm using the oxygen-free awesomeness full US specification CEA 2015 compliant 12 gauge recoil wire, which I would love to know if Larry actually asked permission to have CEA compliant, or if it's just, you know, if that's generic for the industry in general. So, but Larry's helped enough people, I'm sure they would give them a pass. So, and then what I did was I used the other one is dual 4, and so we need a final 2-ohm load. So what I did was I used the Slim Jim copper coil again, as I did with the 8500, the MTX 8500, and then I just used one coil, and I kept the other coil on there and intact. And what ends up happening is it acts as a heat sink, a little bit of more thermal mass to give it a little more playtime before you burn it up. Again, you should never burn a woofer when using it correctly, and it'll perform fine, and it'll last 10 to 12 years if you use it within its parameter. So the finale that I'm doing for this is the regular dish cap that sits right on the stitching of the surround, and then I'll just do a blank poly cap, and then I think I'm out of Alpine stickers, but then I'll probably get Jerry to make something up. So Jerry at Savage Stance Media for decals and stuff like that. So. But and that'll be fine, and that'll be done for that. So, but yeah, just a little heads up. Somebody had called me this morning, and they're like, "Oh my God, you're the guy from..." He's like in Nebraska. He's like, "You're the guy from the videos." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm the guy from the fucking videos, dude. Like, who else would be making videos trashing brands?" Anybody that sits there and just fucking... We called it butt snorkeling when we were in the Air Force. When somebody just butt snorkels a brand, they cannot be honest with you, because there's none of them have earned, I would say, at least my praise. I'll speak for me. None of them have earned my praise, okay? None of them have been inventive or creative, really, in any sort of way. It's been the same shit as, like I just did with the story thing, since the 90s. So since the late 80s, early 90s, there was a little innovation in the 90s, but again, it's the same... It's the same product, but a different color or a different marketing scheme or a different name or a different whatever. It's all the same bullshit. So the only thing that's really changed is big Neo motors, but even these I'm not a fan of either. So these, the top is actually finished and ready to go. I kind of want to do some touch up, but I'm going to ask John if he wants me to do touch up. I'd rather have him do it, because I look at these things. There's like, it's like two big hams. I'm not very good with detail work in that respect. I get very frustrated with paint because it flakes. So this looked great at one moment, and then when I cleaned off the filings, it splattered, and I was like, God damn it. So, but that's, you know, that's why I typically use powder coat anyway. So, but I'll do a separate video on this with the top assembly to show that final work and how I bolted it down and everything like that. I just wanted to do these. I'll do a separate video on Josh's. I apologize again, Josh. These should have been ready, but I didn't get to them. Each one is dual 2. He's going to have an amp on each one. There's only 3 dumpers that I've made with the engraving on the back, and these are 2 of the dumpers, and Josh will own them, and especially when I go to the moon, they'll be worth a lot of money, more than fucking Bitcoin. Fuck you, Bitcoin. So, but what else? That's about it. I want to keep this short, but to answer that Nebraska hee-haw motherfucker that called me, again, don't call me, just text me, okay? Yes, I'm a real person, yes. And typically I've been wanting not to answer my phone, but it's an old habit about being available and being present for people, you know, serving people and things like that. Again, I have to learn how to set boundaries so that I can actually get what I really want to get done. So with that said, that's it for the Type X. I will do a follow-up video just to show you what it looks like at the very end. Same with this one, same with this one. So I love you guys. Talk to you later.